Hello, welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. It's my Eurovision 2023 Top 37 countdown. Place number 32 is Albania, Albina and Familja Kelmendi with Duje. Please do subscribe, click on the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and also like, share and comment below. Now, I can imagine that last year's contestant for Albania, Ronela, is feeling perhaps a little embittered about Eurovision this year. She missed out on representing San Marino this year, having reached their national final selection. And she also, had the semi-finals last year been televote only, she would have got to the grand final, as she finished 12th overall, but would have made it under televoting. But instead, it is Kosovan-Albanian Albina who's going to get the chance to make the final in 2023, and along with her whole family, but along with her family, which is the Familja Kelmendi, and the song Duje. Now, Albania's national final, Festivalja Kangas, is their very long-running music festival. It was modelled on San Marino, the Italian music festival, and it's long predated Albania's actually entry into Eurovision. And Albania was quite a late entrant into Eurovision, for obvious reasons, but it has generally been used as the vehicle by which Albania selects their Eurovision entry. But for the first time, though, they did something slightly different. They had a public vote for the what was going to be the Eurovision entry, and separately they had the vote who was going to win Festivalja Kangas. Now, it could have been the same one won, as it was slightly different, but the selection for Eurovision was voted for by the Albanian public for the first time. I think for the first time, because the Festivalja Kangas is normally done just by jury rather than by televote. So she does have already the Albanian public vote behind her, something that she's had experience of before. She was runner-up in a Albanian TV talent show, The Voice of Albania, and that was when she was just 16 back in 2014. Duje is in some ways sort of a classic example of that kind of Albanian folk pop song, folk pop ballad. Something I've often liked. Sometimes they don't work so well. Others I've really liked a lot. Albanian vocalists invariably seem to be really strong, very strong singers. And I think that holds for Albina as well. It is not a happy song by any means, given I think the subject of the song is around, certainly if you watch the music video, it looks like it's a family falling apart and looking back at what were happier times, etc. Though somewhat perhaps incongruously, she's obviously joined by her family on stage. I think it's a couple of her siblings and her parents. I'm just not connecting to the song. Now, that kind of melancholic Albanian folk wail, and when I say wail, I don't mean that as an insult or negatively or dismissively. It's just the style of the vocal. It's just not doing it for me this time. I've liked it in other songs, in previous Albanian entries, but I'm just not getting it with this one, and I'm not quite sure why. It's just not fitting with me. I also do remember it was a bit of a hot mess on stage at Festivalja Kangas, but that's just by the time they get to Liverpool, it can be quite different. So that kind of hot mess may be long gone by then. We shall see. Now, contrary to what you might expect, Albania does not have a huge diaspora vote, which surprised me when I kind of was investigating this. I think the reason it got in the top 10 in the televote in last year's semi-finals because it was a female up-tempo ethno banger, which tends to often do quite well, or certainly gets some of the votes in. So qualifying is not going to be a straightforward ask for Albania this year. In terms of their diaspora voting partners, as far as I can tell, Greece is in this semi-final, with the countries they've got lined up. Greece is the only really reliable diaspora vote that they've got. or provider. I do expect some votes to come from the UK this time though, because since I'm not quite sure when the last time the UK voted. I have to check when the last time the UK voted. I think it was before the pandemic. But I think there's been quite a significant increase in the Albanian diaspora population in the UK kind of since the pandemic and since Brexit. So maybe there will be a bit more of a diaspora vote coming from the UK this time, but we shall see. But at the moment, neither the betting odds nor the Eurovision scoreboard app suggests that Albania are going to qualify this year. Maybe some kind of dramatic and memorable staging will help, and obviously she's got a very strong live vocal. Whether or not the appearance of her family on stage, obviously their family are with her on stage, or they do appear at at the Festival of Kangas, they appeared at some point. They're not necessarily the most natural performers on stage. So I don't know whether that will either help or hinder Albina's qualification chances. But as always, do let me know what you think Albina and her family's chances of qualifying are. Let me know in the comments. And of course, join me next time as we continue the countdown. Take care.